Hi, it's Pastor Andy, and we are resuming the idea of sermon teasers. We've taken a break from them, reinstituting them because we are starting a new series, this time looking at the Gospel of Mark, and the series is going to be entitled Follow Me in the Footsteps of Yeshua, and I'll explain that more in just a moment. But one of the things I really enjoy with the Bible is trying to dig in and understand the questions in the text. And so as we introduce this, I just want to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of that. First off, some questions are easy, some questions are hard in comparison. For instance, theologically, what is baptism? It's much easier to answer than how do we describe Jesus as fully God and fully man. But one of the things when we're asking questions is, or when I'm asking questions of the text, is not only for my own benefit, but for the benefit of those that I'm teaching or in the sermon preparation, is what questions might others ask of this text? And more importantly than what others are asking is what truths does God want communicated in that process? And that can take many different facets. But as I think about that process and the research that goes into it, the amount of information that is generated that could go into a lesson or text, then I have to back off and say, well, what is the proper amount of time, or what will people perhaps really care about? And as I think about that, it leads me to think about the writers of the Bible, the various authors. Why did they include what they included? Why did they leave out what they left out? For instance, the four Gospels have a lot of similar things, especially what we call the synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, but there's a lot of differences, and Mark is the shortest. So as we do a study on Mark, the question will be, why did you choose the book of Mark, Andy? And I'll answer that in a blog post on Monday, so you can check that out accordingly. But the bigger question for each of these authors as they did that is, how did God inspire them? How did God lead them? 2 Timothy chapter 3 verses 16 and 17 talk about the fact that God did inspire Scripture. He used the individual's unique aspects, but he also inspired or guided what would be written, including sometimes the very choice of words. So with that being said, as we look at this coming series and looking what Mark wrote and why Mark wrote what he wrote, we're going to do that with the understanding that is twofold. First off, follow me. Again, the series is entitled Follow Me in the Footsteps of Yeshua. The follow me is a statement that Jesus said as he called his disciples. He said that to the disciples by the lake who were fishermen. He said that to a tax collector. He said that to many, just follow me. And that same invitation and expectation is made of those today who choose to believe in Jesus, who choose to follow him. The other part, though, is in the footsteps of Yeshua. If we're following somebody, we're walking in their footsteps. We're familiar with that language, but the name Yeshua might be a little foreign to you, so let me just say that was Jesus's name in the Hebrew, or what his mother and father would have called him, Yeshua. Really, it's a shortening of the name, like Andrew to Andy. It's a shortening of Yahashua, which is the same as the Old Testament name Joshua. So that is who Jesus was. That name means God is salvation. And so as we look, the reason I'm going to use Yeshua, and the reason that that's a part of the title of the series, is that besides looking at the opportunities, the follow me part that Jesus asked him to do, we will look for opportunities. We will explore the opportunities that Jesus found, those that came to him, and how he responded, and in turn see how we might respond in similar situations. But we also want to take a look at the Jewishness of Jesus. Jesus was not a Christian. He was Christ. And so everything that he did came from a background of Judaism in the first century, based upon Old Testament teachings that had been around for 1,500 years, or in some cases longer. So by using the word Yeshua, or the name Yeshua as it might be, we can remember and reflect on Jesus as a Jew, which certainly in that culture would have helped him and defined not only who he was, but how he responded. So as we do this over the next year, the study of the Gospel of Mark, I hope you'll join us. I look forward to providing one of these sermon teasers on a week-by-week basis on Thursday or Friday before, and then posting a blog first part of the following week so that you can reflect on the sermon accordingly. And then I'll be posting some things on my own personal blog about my own response to these things. So we'll look forward to seeing you. I hope you'll be a part of joining us each week for this series, and I hope most importantly that you will choose to follow Yeshua in his footsteps.